eventually, okay, this last thought will carry all the previous accumulated karmic energy, and that karmic forces, okay, whether you're doing good or bad, okay, that will determine your immediate rebirth, right, in another existence without intermediate being. Okay, so Namo Buddhaya, good evening. So we are going to explore one of the very important teaching, right? One of the very profound teaching on the idea of no self, okay? You see, Buddhism differs from many other religions in terms, I think mainly because of the idea is very different from other religion, particularly the no self, okay? But our topic will center around no self and then what it is exactly, okay? Since there's no idea of self, right? Then what's reborn? So, and then this centered a very big, this, centered on a very really big question. If there is no permanent self, okay? The self or soul, right? Or unchanging self, then what it is that travel from one life, right, to another life. So these are the questions, right? Then we have to account for the continuity of life, right? Continuity of life and how one life flows to another life if there is no self. Then of course Buddhism talk about the karma, right? Then how that good action, right, lead to good consequences or the bad action lead to bad consequences, right? If there is no self, then how are you going to account for this, right? The working of the karma. And then another thing is a memory. If there is no self, then how can we remember our past life? Then another one is rebirth. Can be reborn due to our own past action if there is no permanent, whatever you call it, you la or us la, okay, to be reborn. So these are the things that we are going to explore. And it's very challenging, of course. So we often say in Buddhism that if we do a good karma, we will lead to a good rebirth. But again, this forces, to ask, if there is no eternal self, right, no permanent self or soul, what is that, what to be reborn? Okay, I think a lot of religion will account for that what. So how to account for the continuity of life and how we can remember our past life. These are the questions that we raise, okay? So I think we can say that the Buddha is coming to this world, to tell us something very truly revolutionary. No one has ever raised this kind of questions even before the times of the Buddhas. We can say that during the times of the Buddhas, no any other religion was saying it. So I think one of the Buddha's teaching, right, he's coming to this world is the discovery of non-self. For today's Sutta discovery, Suddhi, so we will base on the early Pali Suttas. Then another important book, important text called the Milinda Panha, right? Have you heard of that text, right? But anyway, just to know that we are going to look at this text. The Milinda Panha is the questions of the King Milinda. Before we proceed to this, we have to look at two major thinking of the world religion about what happened after death. Because when we talk about the modern religion, you are referring to the Hinduism or Abrahamic religion, right, including the Judaism, Christianity or Islam. We first look at, these two major world religion, how they account for this continuity of life. Okay, firstly we look at the Hinduism, right? We know that the Hinduism, their idea of karma and reincarnation is quite similar to Buddhism. And of course, Buddhism also share the same idea, using the same words, reincarnation, use the words of the karma. But Buddhism offers a complete different idea and understanding. I think this is also worth looking at it today. And we know that for Hinduism, right, they believe in the permanent soul, right? When I use the word soul, mean the self, they are the synonyms, same meaning. Okay, soul or the self. For Hinduism, they call Atman, or not Atman. Atman means 灵魂. Right, in Chinese, it's called 灵魂. And then for Hinduism, the things that this Atman is something very permanent, and then that Atman live inside the body. It's like a driver in a car. So that self live inside the body. So they say right, when a physical body die, right, when we die, this soul doesn't die, right, with the body. And then they could be reborn in many other realms, like they talk about you can be a god, you can be a human being, or even you're reborn as an animal, right? That sounds like similar to Buddhism. This idea is that, you know, they have the idea of Atman. And then they said that what determines your next life, according to Hinduism, is also karma. We also said the same thing. It's karma. And then they also talk about, right, if you are doing good action, they will lead you to a better rebirth. And then they said that, you know, this cycle of the samsara, what do you call it? Like birth and death, right? The rebirth, you know, continues from life to life. That also sounds very similar to Buddhism, right? Then they said that the ultimate goal for them is to finally break free, you know, from this cycle of birth and death. It sounds like Buddhism, isn't it? We also said the same thing. And then they said, they use the word moksha instead of nirvana. Moksha is a Sanskrit word called liberation. Pali also have these words, right? Then how is the idea of moksha, liberation? They said that they are the union with the divine God. Their God is a Brahma, because according to them, they said that we are created by the Brahma. Then we have, once we attain the final liberation, we are union with the divine God, divine source called the Brahma. Okay, so in Hinduism, their ultimate liberation is that you are one in union with the Brahma. They have the Sanskrit words called Ahang Brahma Asmi. Ahang Brahma Asmi. What is that meaning? It said, I am Brahma. Or I am the absolute. Okay, the Brahma for them is the absolute. So the state of union, you know, for the Hinduism is, they call it non-dual. Non-dual means there is no longer a sense of I and the God. There's only one reality. It means that you are merged, your soul merged with the Brahma. So there is no such the distinction between you and the Brahma. You are one and union with the Brahma. And then they consider this as a final liberation. I hope that makes sense to you, right? They have the belief of the permanent self. Their final liberation is moksha, and then they are one with the Brahma. It means that Ahang Brahma Asmi. So there is no discrimination. So that thing is clear, right? And then they have the idea of reincarnation. They have the idea of karma. That sounds quite similar to Buddhism. Then how about the Abrahamic religion? You see, their religion is very different. They don't believe in the karma and reincarnation. Neither they believe in cause and effect. Because we are all created by the God. And they believe that we only live only a single life on earth. It's quite different from Buddhism. We are coming to this world, you know, we are go round and in the samsara from beginningless time, no? But for them, they said they only live one single life on earth. I may be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is it? And then for their belief, they said that if after we die, right? Then we face a final judgment. A final judgment by the God. Huh? But however, they talk about if we have faith in the God, okay, or performing the good action according to the God will and their teaching, their instruction, then in that life itself, we will be reborn, or we will be born eternally in heaven. It means that born in their heaven, in the God heaven. But unfortunately, if we don't believe in that, we have no faith in them, we don't follow according to the will, then we will reborn in the hell. So simple as that. So for them, you see, coming to this world only one time, and then It's an eternal destination, and then not a repeating cycle. They don't talk about the samsara. So this is what we call the Abrahamic religion. We come back to the Buddha's time, in the ancient India. The similar question also asked, what happened after we die? Right? What happened after we die? And then we find that two main answers given. First one is the annihilationism. In Chinese we call it 虚无主义 或者是唯物主义. Pali is called Uchedavada. Okay, Uchedavada means no life after death. They believe that, when we die, right, everything gone. Everything gone. So you can think of the flame that gets extinguished completely. Then nothing is left. So no? Nothing, everything gone already. So you see, to this group of people believing in this kind of idea, there's a term for it. They are the materialist, or nihilist. Materialist. Chinese is called 唯物主义. It says everything, just get annihilated at that. Then there is no future consequences for your action. Then you are not held responsible for what you did. So they can do anything. To this group of people, they have no morality. They can do anything. They can kill the people because they believe that, I don't need to held any responsible when I die. So then they said, if that is the case, why do I bother doing so-called good thing? Why should I bother, right? So their idea is that if that is the case, then I should enjoy my life. I should enjoy my life, to the maximum. I have no any morality. Why should I do good thing? We believe that you do good thing, you will get good results. No, you will go to the heaven. But for them, they said, why should I do good thing? Everything gone, annihilated when we die. So you find this group of people in ancient India. I believe even in our society also, we find this group of people. You see, so we give them terms called nihilist, right, or the materialist. They have the belief of annihilationism. Then another group is eternalism. Okay, they are during the Buddha's time. It's 永恒主义. They say that, this is also similar to the Hinduism. They believe that you have an eternal, unchanging, permanent soul. It means that when the body dies and this soul move on to another body, it means that a similar soul move on to another body. Yeah, like I have said just now, Aham Brahma Asmi, I'm Brahma, or I'm the Absolute, right? So for them, the ultimate realization is it's a union with yourself, with the Atma. So the idea is that, So you see, since they said how to go there, how to get union with the Brahma. So they have the idea of the self-torturing or the self-mortification, to torture themselves. And then, of course, they have the idea of denying the body. So they said that this body is covered by the karma, because they believe the karma is of the material. So they have to go through all kind of penances, all kind of torture, all kind of hardship, right, in order to clear this karma, that of material. So go through all the hardship, all kind of torture and mortification. Then what they believe is that the soul will become purified and union with God. Okay, so this is a belief for those eternalists. Then what is the Buddha's so-called middle way? Definitely Buddha rejected both of them, both of these views as extreme and incorrect. In brief, okay, before we go into the details, right? What is the Buddha's standpoint? We find that the Buddha have the middle way. The middle way is not in between these two extremes, but he discovered something very different from these two views. Okay, and of course, first of all, the Buddhists deny there is this permanent soul the Buddha talked about there is a flow of the stream of consciousness that flow on. Okay, so we will come into that. We will refer to the Milinda-Panha. Milinda-Panha gave a very comprehensive explanation of what transmigrate. Okay, they will explain what is Antarbhava, like most of the Chinese would say, intermediate being, like Zhong Yin Sen. Yeah, Milinda-Panha also account for that also. I will also share with you. Is that belief of Antarbhava true or not true? Because in our Buddhist practice, still many Buddhists believe that Antarbhava, Zhong Yin Sen, intermediate being. Okay, then we also will deal with the samsara. We also will deal with the karma. All these things are explained very clearly. Okay, anyway, just to give you, just a general idea. What the Buddha's middle way is that we are not talking about the self. There is no permanent self, but we are talking about the stream of consciousness, and that stream of consciousness, store all your karmic energy. That store all your karma, right? Whatever you do, good or bad, all these things are stored there, right? So we call it karmic energy, right? So is that karmic energy that's stored in the stream of consciousness that continue and driven by the cause and the condition. Okay, the example given is that it is like a wave in the ocean. One wave causes the next. Not because a thing is moving, but because of the energy that pass on. Okay, I think maybe you're still not clear, but it's okay, right? We will consult many other references also. So, and of course, in brief, when we talk about the death, we are talking about when a person passes away at his last thought. Last thought that referred to the last stream of consciousness. Okay, so that eventually, this last thought will carry all the previous accumulated karmic energy, and that karmic forces, whether you are doing good or bad, that will determine your immediate rebirth, right, in another existence without intermediate being. At least for Theravada, there is no such idea of intermediate being, but Mahayana, they talk about the intermediate being, Zhong Yin Sen. It means that there is this, what they call intermediate. That's why they talk about the intermediate being. They will hang around, 49 days in search of reborn. Then what happened to that 49 days? Some people said, this might hint at the idea of the soul concept. So anyway, we will explain afterwards. Just throw you some question, or some question for you to think about. This one is from one of the suttas. It's from the Digha Nikaya. A sutta is called Sampasada Niya Sutta. Digha Nikaya, right? And then there is the phrase here says, Vichñana sotang idha loke patitikanja paraloke patitikanja. The translation is a stream of consciousness that could be established in this world or in other. You see, you find in the early suttas, the Buddha used the word stream of consciousness, Vichñana Srota, right? And that stream of consciousness flow on and on from one life to another life, from beginningless time. You see, until we finally realized, the ultimate liberation. You see, this idea, is it similar to Hindu? But the Hindu has the idea of permanent self, right? But Buddhism didn't talk about it. But Buddhism used the idea of the stream of consciousness. But the idea of karma is there. The idea of continuity is there. And then the idea of ultimate liberation is there. But there is, But our ultimate liberation is Nibbana. It's not union with the God. It's a Nirvana. What is Nirvana? Nirvana is a cessation, from all the defilement. It means that you have completely extinguished all the greed, hatred, and delusion. So it means that kind of cessation from all the defilement is through the practice of the purification of the mind. It's not torturing the body. That's why the Buddha rejected the extreme practices. And in this sutta, you see, Buddha never posited a permanent self. Instead, the Buddha used the stream of consciousness. So you can think of it like a river, like a river. right, a flowing river. This stream of consciousness, has been flowing non-stop, right, since beginningless time. You get my word when I say beginningless time. It means that you cannot count when, but from beginningless time. Okay? So, but, this stream of consciousness never end, right? When the body dies, it will continue. So it means that at the end of one life, all the karmic energy, we are talking about all the karmic energy that you have accumulated or you have built up, that is to say the momentum from your past action and the intention will carry on within this stream of consciousness and carry into the next life. As simple as that. Okay. Then they said that when the conditions are ripened, new being is born. So now, how is that stream of consciousness? What the stream of consciousness tells us? You cannot say that the stream of consciousness imposes the idea of permanent, nor completely a different one. So the idea is that, it is neither the same nor a complete different. That kind of idea? You cannot say that exactly the same, or you cannot say that they are exactly different one. So they are in the middle. Neither the same nor different. Got it now? It means that you cannot say the same person is reborn, nor completely a different one. Okay? So that is very interesting. Huh? So that's also will be discussed in my Melindapanha, my next slide also. Okay, you see, when we are reading all these suttas, right? Then Abhidhamma also will analyze. Huh? In the early suttas, we find that, when Buddha says everything is impermanent, the words that the Buddha used is impermanent. Then in Abhidhamma, this stream of consciousness, we are talking about a stream of consciousness, right? It's not analyzed in terms of impermanent, but analyzed in terms of momentary. Can you see the shift from the impermanent to the momentary, isn't it? The shift. During the Buddha's time, Buddha never bothered about momentary. Everything gone already. Why you want to analyze something that is gone? So, but Abhidhamma, they are specialists. They analyze things in a very minute way. They said that we analyze everything in terms of permanent, you see, and that for Theravada, they said that each moment has three phases. Three phases mean it arises, okay, one moment, that moment, one phase, and then it stay on for a short time, okay, then another phase, then after that, it ceases. So you can see that one moment, instead of rising, falling, in the Theravada, it's just rising, falling, but some of the Abhidhamma, they go into the details that as it arises, it stays on for a while before it ceases. So you find that three phases. Yeah, so you can see this Abhidhamika, or the specialist, they go into that detail. They said that as, momentary to momentary. The previous moment, is a storage of all the karmic, energy, right? So all this karmic energy will carry on to the next moment. So when it carry on to the next moment, it also added to the current moment karma, then transferred to another moment. So you can see that, at each moment, they are not the same identical thing. But you cannot say that they are completely different because, add on. You get it or not? Okay? That sounds interesting. They said that only when the conditions are ripened, okay, then the result is manifested. You see? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, then there is also another idea in this Majjhima Nikaya, Asalayana Sutta. If you have questions to ask, it's okay. We leave it till the end, okay? Because I find a lot of interesting passages from Melindapanha related to your question. Then we find the word, interesting word is called the Gandhabba, right? This word Gandhabba. And you see, in these suttas, right, they talk about there are three conditions required for a human conception. The first one is they talk about the mothers need to be in the fertile period. Okay, this is the first condition. And the second condition, they talk about the union of the father and mother. Okay, the sperm and the eggs. Okay, this is the second condition. And then the third one is the Gandhabba. What's the meaning of that Gandhabba? You see, this Gandhabba is also not a Buddhist word. It's a pre-Buddhistic word. It's like the concept of samsara, the concept of karma. You see, these are all very pre-Buddhistic words. When the Buddha adopted, these Buddhist words, the Buddha gave a new interpretation, new meaning to it, similarly to the word Gandhabba. So you see, these words are very, very Vedic. It means that they are very, very, very Vedic. Okay, Vedic means pre-Buddhistic. Okay, you see, in this text, we should understand the words Gandhabba as not something everlasting, permanent entity, but you can understand as the transference of karma, the karmic energy from the dead consciousness, the moment when you pass away, and then carry on to your next life. Is that referred to the karmic energy? So the Gandhabba in these suttas is just a convenient name only. Just like the Buddha used the word karma, but you don't think of karma as Hindu context, but you think of the karma in the Buddhist context. Similarly, the Gandhabba in the Buddhist context. Right? It's just a convenient name for the same stream of consciousness. And then what is this stream of consciousness? They are carrying all your karmic energy. And all these karmic energies, they are ready to connect with a new life at the time of the conception. You understand these three conditions? So with these mother's fertile periods and with the union father and mother, it's not enough. You need to have this stream of consciousness which carry all the karmic, the energy that connect to a new life when the conditions ripen. Yeah, so this is the understanding, the words from the Gandhabba. You cannot impose the idea of permanent self. But definitely, if according to the Hinduism, the Gandhabba is the permanent self. Okay, so don't confuse, the Buddhist context of Gandhabba or the similarly Buddhist context of karma with the Hindu context, or the present day we call Hindu, those days we call the Brahmin. Context of the karma and the Gandhabba. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, now we come to the text already. I quoted several passages from the Milinda Panha. You see, so basically this Milinda Panha is a dialogue between the king called Milinda and the monk called Nagasena. Okay, so it's basically a dialogue between the king Milinda and Nagasena. And then there is one small section, in this text that deal with this topic. They said, if there is no permanent self, the Buddhist concept anatta, then what is it that gets reborn and how does karma carry over? Okay, before that, we look at who is King Milinda, right? Because he is such a very influential people. We know that this King Milinda, he is not Theravada. But Theravada has high regard to him because this king is very clever, is very genius. The way he asks really reflect what our questions are all about. Okay, so King Milinda, you can regard him as a Greek, Hindu Greek king. Hindu means India, Greek king. Okay, and who lived in the 2nd century BC, about 2,200 years ago. And then he lived in the modern day we call Pakistan. And then his empire covered a vast territory, in the northwest India and Pakistan. And then he extended, his territory to the present day called Afghanistan. And he is famous for this important text called the Milinda Panha, the question of King Milinda. And then he raised many interesting questions and then answered by Nagasena. And you see, one of the questions King Milinda asked, right, if there is no permanent soul, right, or the self, what connect one life to the next? King Milinda, he was very confused. Okay, I think same to us. We're also very confused, right? If you said there is no self, then you have a lot of problems. People ask you, hey, what continue? You cannot say. Hey, how to explain the karma? You cannot tell. Right? Hey, how do I know what happened yesterday? You cannot tell. This is all these things comes. So similarly, the King Milinda, he was very confused. And then, of course, for King Milinda, he thought for a karma to be ripened, then there must be a single, identical self that moves from one life to another life. And the Buddhist monk, right, Nagasena, he used the idea, okay, the concept of neither absolute identity nor totally different. The kind of idea, to resolve his confusion. Nagasena explained, he said that it is a continuous stream of Namarupa. Namarupa means mental and physical, the complex, that carry on. Each one of us carry Namarupa. Mingse, carry Namarupa. He said that it is a continuous stream. Imagine that, the river, flows on. The river flows on. The river never got stagnant, never got stuck there, but it flows on, right? It flows on. It never stay in one moment, but it carry forward. So you cannot say that they are identical, because from this moment to next moment, right, it's already different. But you cannot say that from the moment B is different from A. That kind of idea. Neither nor relationship. Nagasena answered, it is a continuous stream of mental and physical processes that carry on, not a fixed self. Your action in this life creates energy that shape the next life, mental and physical existence. Here the use of word action is mean karma, or the karmic energy. So it means that at every single moment we are creating a lot of karmic forces. These karmic forces then that shape the next life, mental and physical existence. Here referred to an individual. You see that our individual is made up of Namarupa. This is earliest definition, earliest understanding. Or you can further extend, the individual is made up of 5 aggregates. Namarupa is there. What makes up an individual is Namarupa, or the Panchaskandha. Then the king has questioned. They said, but if my present self isn't the one reborn, why should a future me be punished for what current me did? That seems unfair. Now we talk about not the same, not the different. How to understand this? This Namarupa, I use the word Namarupa, I hope okay for you. These are the Pali word, Namarupa, in the next life. It's not identical entity as the old one. It's not the same. For example, the child is not the adult. Adult is adult, child is child. Or the flame at the end of the candle is not the same as the flame that started it. They are not the same. So when he used the word not the same, refers to that. Like, can you say that you are the same with when you were young time? You look at the photo, it's very different face. Then, when you talk about not different. This not different, it means that they are not totally unrelated entity. It means that, it arises, independent of the earlier one. If there is no A, then there is no B. Let's say that the adult, if he grew from the child, so they are not identical, they are not different. No, they are the same, because, you understand or not? Yeah, the kind of idea, I hope that makes sense to you. If you understand, then we can look at it. Nagasena, he knows the king has this problem. So he is very good at using the simile, the metaphor, analogy to explain his idea, to make things clearer. So Nagasena, he uses several powerful examples to show that while the specific form changes, the causal connection remains, making responsibility perfectly logical. Okay, so these are the examples. He used the analogy of the stolen mango. A thief steals a mango seed. He can't claim the tree that grows from it is different from the seed he stole. The tree came from that seed. For example, you see, you talk about the fruit tree. Okay, the fruit tree is not the seed, but the fruit tree came from that seed. So that explains cannot be the same, but cannot be different. Okay, then the second one, the unchecked fire. A man leaves a fire fire burning and it spread to burn a field. He can't claim the fire that burned the field is different from the fire he left. One caused the others. Like for example, the forest fire, right? The forest fire, in this case, forest fire, right? It's not a campfire, but it was caused by it. You see, so you cannot say that they are same nor different. Then similarly, the maturing girl. A man pay a dowry for a young girl. Years later, when she is a woman, she can't be told she is a different person. The woman grew from that girl. So that is to say the adult woman is not the younger, but she developed from her. Then another one, milk to curd, right? Milk left to ferment become curd. You can't demand the milk back as if the curd is unrelated. The curd is a direct result of the milk. Of course, when we talk about the milk and curd, they are different. But the curd is produced from milk. Here is a continuum. You see the Nagasena solution. He used the doctrine of neither absolute identity nor totally different, to answer the king's question. He said, what is reborn? Okay, now we come back to this. Okay, what is reborn according to Nagasena? Right? He said it is a stream of nama rupa, my matter, meaning her. Okay, this is not a thing but a dynamic. This not a thing means that it is not the self. Okay, but a dynamic, ever-changing process of mental and physical phenomena. The present life nama rupa is true karma, right? It's volitional action that create a condition for a new stream of nama rupa to arise in the next life. So the karma is a causal link, not a self. The doctrine of neither absolute identity, neither the same nor totally different. So not the same. Okay, not the same. They said the new nama rupa in the next life is not identical to the old one. The child is not the adult. The flame at the end of the candle is not the same as the flame at the start. They are not the same. Like younger and then old woman, they are not the same. Can you say they are the same? Not the same. But you cannot say they are different. Okay, because the old woman also come from the younger. Okay, yeah. You cannot say that they are completely unrelated. And then they have these direct causal consequences of the previous one. And then because of this, A causes the B to arise, and then A plus B causes C to arise. Then A plus B plus C causes the D to arise, right? Similarly, A plus B plus C plus D cause E to arise. So can you say that the previous and the following moment are the same? No. But you cannot say that they are completely different or unrelated. I mean, this is the idea Nagasena brought out. That's why, in Buddhism, we talk about the karma, right? We are the heir of our karma. We are the responsible, right? Our own. Okay, what is nama rupa? Okay, because many of you don't know what is nama rupa. And this is a very important idea, right? If you practice a meditation, right, especially the vipassana, we have to understand the nama rupa, We have to have the ability, through the analysis of nama rupa, there is no self. Okay, so it's a very vipassana, okay? And you can further elaborate this nama rupa into panchaskandhas, into the 12 ayatanas, through the 12 domains of sphere, or even to the 18 dhatus, or even in the Abhidhamma you talk about 81 dharmas. 81 dharma means that they analyze an individual, right, into these 81 discrete elements. You can see that the process of analyzing into a very minute particle, that particle can be of mental and physical, that cannot be further analyzable. A term for it is called dharma or element. Okay, so these are what make up an individual. But the earliest that you can find is the nama rupa. Nama rupa is an ever-changing psycho and physical organism that constitutes a living being in the cycle of rebirth. So what is nama? Nama means ming lah, or ming. mind, okay, or mental factors. And this is a non-physical experiential side. It is not just consciousness, but entire package of mental activities, including feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. So you see this nama, mental, includes like the feeling. Feeling is one of the mental factors. Its function is to experience, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Then you have the perception, the sanya, is also a mental factors, and the its function is to recognizing and labeling sensory input. For example, you have heard of something, okay, 何日君再来, okay, when you heard of the 白光等着你回来, okay, I don't know whether you understand or not. Those of my age, you understand what I'm saying? Those young ones, they don't understand. When you were young time, we recognize, we identify things, what we have learned, right? And then after some time, or many years later, when you heard the same song, you remember, I have heard it, okay? So that is recognizing, okay? You have heard it, you have that memory. So this is a function played by the perception. And then of course you have the volitional formation, is the kind of thought habits or karmic impulses. Then they said that, what is karma? Karma is that volitional formation, right? Chetanaham vikave, kamang karohi. Then the consciousness is that awareness itself through the six senses. For example, the eyes see an object, I know it. So you're aware of the eye see an object, you see, you're aware of it. So this one also played by the consciousness. So these are what we call the nama. And then another rupa. Rupa is a physical side that this body and material world perceive through the senses. So you see that when you talk about the nama rupa, in fact, it's already include these five aggregates. So this is nama rupa. And then this nama rupa, okay, they are interdependent. Interdependent, it means that they are mutually support each others. For example, the mind cannot function without the body cannot function without the mind. And then however, this nama rupa is constantly changing. Like for example, this moment, like we said, Abhidhamma, they analyze everything in terms of momentary. So they said that this stream of consciousness, okay, which consists of nama rupa, they continue from life to life. So you cannot say that the previous moment and the succeeding moment they are the same. No, are completely different. I mean, we are not talking about the later school. We are talking about the early school. Of course, when you go to the later school, the thing become very complex. Now we come to a very interesting topic, antarbhava. I suppose you have heard the word antarbhava. Antarbhava, you heard of it? 中央山. Of course, the Mahayana use the concept 中央山, okay? But Theravada, we don't have. That's why the Mahayana, they have the idea of 49 days. 49 days. That's why during these 49 days, we had to do a lot of merit, so that this 中央山 will reborn in a better existence. So they have this kind of mechanism, the 中央山 antarbhava they explain. They explain, and this 中央山 exists between the death and rebirth. So there is this gap. How long? The gap of 49 days. Okay, now King Milinda question is that he asked, what color or form this intermediate being antarbhava takes when it travels to the next life? Strange, no? They said color and form. Then Nagasena, he rejected. Nagasena said equivocally that the intermediate being is not a teaching of the Buddhas. He said that this idea is not. If you look at the history, right, this antarbhava is a pre-Vedic, it's a Vedic teaching. And it's not found in the canonical text. It is a concept from Ada. It means that refer to non-Buddhist school. Then Nagasena used the analogy to explain how rebirth can happen without a traveling entity. Nagasena uses the example of sound. When he speaks, the sounds travel to the king's ear, but there is no visible. You cannot see the things that travel, but no color entity. They call sound being. that moves between them. Similarly, rebirth occurs through a causal process without a middleman being. So what Buddhism rejects, the idea is this, the idea of permanent self. And then also the idea of temporarily intermediate being. Okay, intermediate being. That travel to the next life. Okay, this is what early Buddhism rejected. So, you look at this, the early Buddhism will teach a natural process of cause and effect. It is not a thing, okay, that moving, but a flow of energy. And this energy is like a stream of the water stream, right? It never stops in one place. It flows on. As it flows on, it never stays the same. But you cannot say they are completely different, because as A flows to the B, A and B already different things. But you cannot say that A and B are completely different. You cannot say A and B the same, nor completely different. Okay? Because B coming from A. Alright? So then the king also confused. The king Melinda. They said, if nothing transferred from the old one to the new one, and there is no intermediate being, how can rebirth happen at all? Wouldn't that mean that there is no rebirth? So Nagasena is very smart. He is very good at illustration, right? He used a very brilliant analogy to explain the correct views of causal continuity without identity. The seed and the rice plant. For example, a seed grows into a rice plant. The plant is not the same as the seed, but it could not exist without the seed. They are different, but causally linked. Make sense? Huh? Then he used a lamp flame, right? Lighting a second lamp from a first lamp does not mean the first flame transferred to the second. They are not the same. No, the second flame is caused by the first one. It's a new one. They are depending because of from the A lamp, then go to the second lamp. You cannot say A and B lamp are the same. No, you cannot say that they are completely different, because the lamp B is coming from the lamp A. I don't know why, Nagasena give you so much analogies. Still, King Melinda tak faham. Like many of us also the same. So this kind of question is very much relevant. Right? It's not because 2,200 years ago, they have this question. Even now, we also have this similar question. If somebody tell you that there is no antarbhava, you just cannot accept it. Okay, and the mirror reflection. Your reflection in the mirror shows your image, but it is not you. If you cover the reflection, you are not harmed. Similarly, the new life in the next existence is a reflection or a result of the karmic action from the previous life. It is not the same self, but it is the direct karmic consequences. For Nagasenas, okay, this idea of antarbhava, okay, in between the spirits, okay, intermediate being, is just an illusion, okay. The only things that travel, right, or continue is the energy of your action, or we call it karmic energy, which shape our future. Okay, so this is what we were. That's why Buddhism, we believe if we are doing good karma, we can shape our future. We become rich, or we will go to the heaven, because we believe in karma. We know that through the karma, through the good action, we can improve our destiny. Now we talk about the whole Thai. Okay, because the question is very long. So King Melinda asked, okay, he asked a very concrete physical question. He said, when a being is reborn into the mother's womb, what channel, passage, or pipeline does it go through? Then Nagasena answered. He said plainly that no such physical channel or passage exists. Okay, then he gave an example, thinking of a box. He said, to explain the impossible, right? Nagasena uses the power of the mind itself as an analogy. He asked the king, okay, to think of the inside of a box. The king followed that. Think of the inside of the box. Okay, think. Then Nagasena asked, what channel or passage did your thought use to get inside the box? Then the answer is no. Think only, ma. Isn't it? So you see, the rebirth is like a mental, what do you call it? The mental process, right? Not a physical jump, through a certain passage or the channel, but it's a mental process, right? It's a mental process. It means that at the moment of death, right, when we die, this stream of consciousness carrying all your karmic forces simply re-established itself in the new womb. That's all. It doesn't travel there, through certain pipe, certain passage, right? It just appeared there. It's just like a new thought, appears in your mind. That's all. I mean, whether you agree or not, it's okay, I know Nagasena trying very hard to answer this question because he was a king, You cannot say you don't know. When he answered, when he asked, you had to answer, right? And of course, I think Nagasena also used the idea of karma, right? The karma. He said all these things happen because of the energy of your past action, not because something that flew through the air. It's because of action, right? So the karma is a cause, and the rest, like the parents, the fertility of the mother and the union father and mother, these are just a condition. So again, the Gandhava is just a karmic forces, and then it is immediate, right? There is no such thing called intermediate being, right? Yeah. So they are just a moment, connect one moment. So that makes sense to you, So if that's the case, then do we need to follow the Chinese way of when a person passes away, we have to keep doing the marriage for 49 days? I mean, these are all very Chinese. And Mahayana adopt this understanding. Okay, but of course for Theravada, it's not. When a person passes away, then they are accumulated karmic forces, what they have done earlier, will connect, the succeeding moment into the corresponding, the existence. And now talk about the samsara. Okay, we deal with samsara, talking about the beginning last time. Then the King Millennium asked a question, Venerable Sir, okay, you often speak of samsara. What is that? Nagasena gives a very straightforward definition. He said, Your Majesty, a being is born here and die here. Having died here, it is reborn in another place. Being born there, it dies there. Having died there, it is born elsewhere. It is reborn elsewhere. This, Your Majesty, is samsara. But I believe the King Milinda also said, Kamme. So then Nagasena can read through his mind. Like he said. Then he used a simple analogy to illustrate, to make things clearer. A person eat a ripe mango. Then they plant the seed from that mango. The seed grew into a new large mango tree. That new tree produced more fruit, which contains new seed. Those new seed then can then be planted to create yet another tree, and so on in an endless cycle. The cycle of the tree, from seed to tree to fruit to new seed, has no discernible beginning or end. This is what samsara is like. You see, don't see samsara. So you can see that the Buddhist teaching, we had to break the samsara in order to achieve nibbana, because we travel, from the beginningless time. And then the one who break away from the samsara is called nirvana. And then nirvana, you can understand nirvana is like you put a stop to it already, and then the tree no more produced any fruit. The reason we produce fruit is because of the desire, things like that. Then, so this is how, the samsara is end. I mean, this, you find it in the Milinda Panha. Milinda Panha also have a question on, can a being who is destined for a next life know for sure? Then King Milinda asks a practical question. He said, can a being who is destined for a next life know for sure, I will be reborn? Then Nagasena gives a simple and confident answer. Yes, they know for sure. Right? Are you sure you were reborn? Not sure, yeah? So that makes a difference, huh? Then Nagasena used the example of farmer. He said a farmer takes the seed and plant it in the soil. When the rain falls, the farmer using his experience and knowledge can know with certainty this seed will grow into a plant. Then Nagasena concluded that in the same way, a being can know that there will be a next life. So this is a farmer and a seed analogy, right? So just like the farmer, he knows for sure that, the seed that he planted, will grow and then, grow into the crops, okay, etc. Because he has seen that many times or 1,000 times. He knows for sure, right? It's from the seed, it gives fruits, okay? Then how about in Buddhism? We know for sure that we will go to good destination. For example, you see in our Buddhist practice, the Buddha says, refrain from doing bad, do good things, purifies your mind, right? This is my teaching to you. So we follow this teaching, we try to avoid doing bad, try to cultivate good things. Not only that, we cultivate our mind through the practice of meditation, right? Samatha, through the vipassanas, purify our mind. Then we will go to Nibbana. We will extinguish our suffering, right? All the deformity. We know for sure, right? Because this is coming from the Buddha's words. This is what King asked about. Can a being who is destined for a next life know for sure? So the example is there, huh? Now, when we're talking about the samsara, we know for sure that we will reborn. And where? Okay, where about? I mean, just give you a very brief understanding because we before we finish, just a general understanding. We're also quite curious where we will be. At least one we know for sure we will be, then we will practice hard, no? If you don't know for sure, then then you are so blurred, that the moment when you are so blurred, then nobody will guarantee it, okay? So anyway, just a general understanding, right? 31 plane of existence can be divided into 4 groups, right? You have the 4 woeful state, 4 道, 7 happy state including the human plus 6 heavens, okay, pertaining to the Kama Loka, sense sphere. And then you have material existence consists of 16 planes. Another one is a material existence consists of 4 planes. So altogether you have 31 planes of existence, okay? And this 31 plane of existence divided into 4 groups. 4 pertaining to the 4 evil, woeful state, and the rest are not bad, okay? The rest very good. 欲界天, 色界天, 无色界天. So we have a lot of confidence. The Buddha said, if we do good things, this 4 will be out. Even when we die, we are happily prepared our future destination, because we believe whatever we have done will definitely bring good result. Okay, it's just like someone who keep enough money in the bank, right? When he wants to migrate, he know for sure you will carry this money and enjoy in other country. Prepared to accumulate merit. Then with the merit, you don't need to worry. Merit is like the punya bank, and this punya bank is invisible, right? No having a color, but this punya bank will sure, carry all your karmic, the energy, which is invisible, to the next life. When you come to this conclusion, we have to prepare our death anyway. We don't run away from that day, you see, because we believe that, right? You see, everything is come and go, come and go, come and go. It's not bad, you see, especially when the body is too old already. A lot of spare parts need to change this, and you see, then we change completely the new body and then prepare ourselves. Don't you think so? You see, like youngsters, they keep changing iPhone every 2-3 years, change, right? And then throw away the old one. Right? Similarly, our body also the same, right? 用咗咁多年啦嚇，so it's also time to change 啦，嗬。Don't change the spare, but change the whole thing. And we believe that, you see, we have done a lot of good merit. We have kept a lot of merit in the punya bank. So that punya bank will guarantee our future happiness, right? Or the present happiness, or also guarantee your future, your good future destiny. Okay, so no need to worry, huh? No need to worry. Is that karmic forces that bring you to a new life? There is no such thing called intermediate being or 49 days. Okay, so we are responsible for all action. Okay, any question?
Thank you, Bhante, for his wisdom and sharing here today. We will move on with the Q&A session. Some ground rules. So if you want to ask a question, raise your hand. We'll pass you the mic and feel free to ask.
Does the stream of consciousness only apply to human beings? Or does it apply to other beings? Because when you say that when your stream of consciousness leave you and goes to, let's say, unfortunately, you go into a woeful state, become a mosquito, does that also have a stream of consciousness that goes on and on?
This stream of consciousness is to explain, non-self. Okay, non-self. It means that there is no permanent entity, residing inside the body, but it's just an analogy to explain, a flow of continuous, the stream. It never stays in one place, but it moves on until the conditions ripen. It gives result. So that applies to all. Yeah. Just an analogy, a stream of consciousness. Huh?
Bhante, every time I hear people saying this, when the condition has ripened, only the result is manifested. I keep hearing people saying this. So how will you explain when the result is manifested, when the condition has ripened?
Okay, so for example, a seed, okay, you plant it on the soil, right? If the seed planted on the soil, there is no water, no cahaya, no sun, no human care, do you think this seed will grow? So this condition means you need your human care, you need the water, you need the sunlight, for it to grow and give fruits. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay.
Hi, Bhante. Why people say that the last thought before you pass away is so important? Because that throughout the whole life we have been accumulated wholesome deeds and also good merits. But why is the last thought or the last stream of consciousness is so important, and people place the critical part, and we also do not know the last minute, the last second that we pass away, how to be in a wholesome condition.
Prepare yourself now, okay? Yeah. 每天想到晚上回去的时候 every night you go back home, right? You prepare to go to die, then sleep, okay? Then the following day you wake up, another life, full of energy. Okay? So, when you look at this, this is what we call, the last thought that decides your succeeding, relinquishing consciousness. You see, and this as particularly explained in the Abhidhamma. Okay, particularly explained in the Abhidhamma. They say that the last thought is very critical. Right? If you think of, say, like for example, you're doing a lot of good things throughout your life, but because of your attachment, okay, not giving up yourself, okay, the properties, you hold on, and also very scared of death, right? So with that kind of attachment, okay, so that attachment will lead you to, the succeeding moment, bad consequences also. Probably you'll be born as a hungry ghost. Yeah, but doesn't mean that you'll be forever there. You'll be experiencing that kind of consequences due to your attachment. But again, when the conditions ripen, okay, when the merit is good enough, right, you'll be reborn in a better place. See? So in Theravada, they place the importance of the last thought. Even in Mahayana, also the same. Also the same thing. So since we understand this, I think we might as well prepare ourselves, without any fear. Okay, happily accept the day to come, because we are going to migrate to heaven.
Actually, related to the same question, this final thought moment, is that found in the early Buddhist texts, or is this the Abhidhamma?
Yeah, you got my point, I think. Abhidhamma explained, 4 types of karma, right? You had the Vedic karma, where decide your immediate rebirth, right? And then it will go to the habit, what do you call this, last thought, you see? And then another one is a habit, right? So they have this hierarchy, you see? If you are doing a lot of good deeds, like for example, you have attained the first jhana in your meditation, that considered very wholesome action, okay? So it means that if you can keep that kind of momentum, right? Then that kind of, what they call energy, what kind of very wholesome karma energy will immediately decide your destiny. Say like if you don't have that kind of very wholesome, strong, wealthy karma, then that succeeding moment will be determined by the moment before you pass away. If maybe you do a lot of bad things, right? But then you invite the sangha, okay, to go to your house, to go to your father for blessing. Oh, your father seeing the Buddhist monk coming, oh, very, very happy. Okay, then they pass away. Okay, probably that thought of seeing a monk probably will lead you to a better place. But doesn't mean that the things that he has done in the past, the unwholesome one, will be erased. Still again the conditions ripen. You still have to experience it. You see, yeah. So that one come when there is no Veti karma, right? The come determined by the last thought, right? If this one is no more there, then it will be determined by the third one. It's more the habitual. Okay, habitual means probably in your day-to-day life. Yeah, you do a lot of karma, like doing a lot of dana, but who knows, suddenly pass away, without any Veti karma or without even the last thought, right? The karma, but they will determined by the habitual karma. Okay, but anyway, these are all the Abhidhamma explanation now. But that also makes sense. Okay, Abhidhamma? Abhidhamma is, you can say that is a commentary or the further elaboration, explanations by the later expert.
So basically, we cannot, no matter how much we do good, right? We cannot wash our karma or dilute the karma, right?
That is already done. It left us the impulse, the imprint.
Yeah.
Imprint. Okay, the forces left behind. Okay, but we believe if you are doing a lot of good things, alright, a lot of wholesome action, then this awesome action will kind of dilute.
It's
Try and error, that plus and minus balance.
I mean, it's like if I touch a hot fire, I cannot feel less pain if I do. No, it's like, for example, let's say I touch a hot kettle, right? There's no way, I'll definitely feel the pain already. Right? There's no way that I will reduce that pain, right?
Of course,
The same concept. So the same concept.
Very serious karma that you experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's not so serious, then I can actually dilute it to.
Yeah. I believe when we were young time, we like to steal the pepper, steal this, steal that, steal the parents' money. That is not a very big what do you call it? Offense, right? But as you grow up, you see, you can do a lot of good things, to dilute, this thing, or ask forgiveness from your parents, yeah, that you have done this. I think your parents also forgive you. Okay.
I'm not sure if this is a question, but given that if we accept that intellectually, we can accept that what is being reborn is not me completely, and neither is it not me completely. That is in the intellectual sense. But logically, I cannot accept the fact that what is being reborn has been reborn. I can call I'm being reborn. I can't, because as in some concept, when you die, you die. And when you're reborn, it is not exactly you. So in that sense, logically speaking, can we say it is not me? In fact, I would like to quote that Zopa Rinpoche, I think you know, the Tibetan Grandmaster. He always say, oh, it is not me, it is not me. He keep telling the audience.
True. It's not you.
So when, in what he explained, I'm not questioning the explanation, but if given the fact that what is reborn is not exactly me, then I can't say I've been reborn. So I'm just saying it's very hard to accept that, as you say, winking, what is this? Half this, half that.
In the early sutras, Buddha never said that. Buddha just used the words "the stream of consciousness," right, to account for the continuity. And as to this, not you, and cannot be identical or completely different. These are all the elaboration by the later, teachers, or through logic or intellectual exercise. All these things could be possible. You see, so. And everybody is also very careful. You cannot perceive the everlasting permanent entities there. If it is there, then you will be forever. as a human being because you're gonna change, you know. So unless you are not Buddhist, if you are Buddhist, then you have to admit we have this belief, we have the karma, we have the continuity, and we understand it impermanent. Yeah, but you cannot say that it's completely different from you. There are a lot of examples given, no? Because like a seed, you know, sprouting into a tree, and you cannot say the tree and the seed are the same. But you cannot say that the tree and seed are completely different because the tree coming from the seed. That's why Nagasena find it very difficult to talk to the king. And he has to use a lot of analogies.
Bhante, is there any way we know when we die?
When? We die every single moment and reborn. Okay?
The actual death lah.
It's okay, prepare. Prepare now.
Thank you.
Prepare now. Huh? Yeah, prepare now. If we prepare death, the day to come, I think we can live a happy life. Because every day is a good day for you. So better prepare.
Okay, Bhante.
Sure, you will die, but you don't know when. Sure, a lot of conditions. Okay, if you have good food, a good medical, medication, then you prolong your life. No problem. Okay, but for sure you will die. If you don't take care of yourself, then you die fast. Okay lah,
I'll take one more question.
Bhante, how do we identify someone is already died?
According to the doctor, when the heart stop functioning. Yeah. But of course, according to Abhidhamma, okay, Abhidhamma will say that you see how to know whether a person is really dead is the life faculty. Okay, this is mine. They have the idea of what they call waiting for like 8 hours, right? It means that till then, your life faculty is still there, So, but it's okay. That's why during these times it's good for you to donate your body, your organ. If think of can be of use, right? Yeah. But I think the doctor will say that you want to donate your organs within 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yes.
With the
Yeah.
freezer.
6 hours. Yeah. It's still fresh now. Don't ask me whether it's pain or not. Okay. I also cannot tell you until I come back and tell you.
Thank you, Bhante, and